Hello, everyone. Welcome to our LPI member roundtable discussion. I am your host, LPI Secretary General Antje Fedderke. Today, we will talk about a topic that has always fascinated me, the evolution of legal protection insurance around the globe. As we will take a closer look at legal protection insurance across different jurisdictions, we will hear diverse stories. But among this richness of experiences, we will find one common thread that binds us all together: an unwavering commitment to serve legal needs and help people to a better access to justice. So, joining me today to share their wealth of expertise and insights, we have a diverse group of industry experts. All the way from South Africa, we have the CEO of LegalWise, Siva Gengan. Hello, Siva.
Hey, hi, Antje.
Representing, great, representing the UK, we have LPI President and Lead Underwriter at AM Trust International, Simon Warr. Hi, Simon.
Hi, good to be here.
And from Germany, we are privileged to have the CEO of Roland Rechtsschutz, Rainer Brüne. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Rainer.
Hello.
Thank you for being part of this conversation. It's an absolute honor, and I'm very excited to be part of this meaningful exchange and to learn from you. So, from the early days in France, when Georges Durand founded the very first insurance of its kind, protecting motorists and sports enthusiasts from the financial burden of disputes, to the emergence finally of legal insurance in South Africa in response to the legal difficulties people faced during apartheid, each chapter in its history has left a lasting mark on the industry. What started as a revolutionary idea has gained momentum. And today, legal protection insurance is much more than a financial service. It provides a sustainable pathway to justice in many European countries, but also in the Americas, Asia, Australia, and Africa. So, what I'd love to know, what are the origins of legal protection insurance in your respective countries? What key moments have shaped your industry? Why not start with Siva? Please, Siva, go ahead and share your insights.
So, the story of legal expenses insurance in South Africa actually started in the early 80s. And it's inextricably linked to the story of South Africa itself. As you would imagine, during the 80s, it was apartheid South Africa, where the majority of the people labored under pretty draconian laws. And access to justice was a concept that was unheard of. Our founder, Zach Crawford, in 1984, started LPI with the intention that it would act as a bridge to ensure affordable and timeless access to justice, through which people would have the ability to both enforce and defend their legal rights.
I would say, Simon, could you go next, please?
Yeah, so slightly earlier, I suppose, the UK introduced legal expense insurance in the mid-70s. Beforehand, the rules around shamefully maintenance and barity had effectively made it illegal. And the market grew from being added onto motor insurance. It was the first thing that started the legal protection products in the UK. But I'm sure, as Rainer will say when we get to him, of course, we came off initially one of the large German companies launching in the UK, and then a insurance broker called Strovers followed suit and set up a company called Hambro. So the product has grown as an enhancement of insurance and a provision of access to justice. to pick up one of the key changes would be the introduction of after the event, and following some of the removal of legal aid and the moving the legal aid burden to the private sector, allowing recoverability of premiums. So there was a kind of sea change in the mid-90s that saw the development of the product of the after the event space, and now both coexist together in beautiful harmony.
Wonderful. Rainer, you come from a very traditional market, so please, how?
Yeah, that's right. In Germany, we have a long history of legal protection insurance. The beginning was actually similar to France, because at the beginning, legal protection was about the legal risks of driving a vehicle. So the first legal protection insurance company in Germany was founded in 1928. It was a well-known brand, DAS, Deutscher Automobilschutz, and they were concentrated on motor disputes. And in 1935, DAS was followed by another well-known brand, Arak, and they were the first to cover other legal areas. Then we have a third very well-known legal protection insurer, Roland Rechtsschutz, and our company was founded in 1957. So we are now 66 years old or young. This shows that we have quite a variety of companies in the market, and the German market is the biggest market for legal protection insurers, with more than 4.7 billion euros in premium. And still, the market is fragmented. We have a lot of players there, and this is not due to the premium volume alone, but it is a matter of regulation, actually. The German Insurance Supervisory Act required until 1990 the strict separation between legal protection insurance and the other lines of business. So an insurance company was only allowed to offer legal protection insurance when it didn't offer other lines of business. And in 1990, this law was changed, and now there are no restrictions anymore. It was practically an issue of European harmonization.
So we definitely see that the legal protection insurance has come a long way. It has been expanding its scope to cover almost every facet of life, providing reassurance in the face of legal and everyday challenges. I wonder, how has legal protection insurance adapted to meet the changing needs and expectations of individuals or businesses in your country? Maybe, Rainer, can you go first in this instance?
Yes, I would say that over the last years, legal protection insurers have become much more customer focused, and that is very important. They have recognized the need to change the selling proposition from being the pure payer of claims costs to become a true conflict manager. And this is important in the eyes of the customer, and this will remain important because the customer is not primarily interested in the lawsuit. The customer is interested in a swift conflict solution, of course.
That's interesting. I mean, I know the German market, of course, best. Siva, how has legal protection insurance changed in South Africa? What has happened there?
I think the way South Africa's evolved from a legal protection point of view is that it's seen more holistically. It's not just pure risk that you insure yourself against, or legal risk that one would insure oneself against. I think it's the question of people see legal expenses insurance as a typical big brother. If you think about it, law affects every aspect of your life, from cradle to grave. And if that is indeed the case, you need somebody to be able to traverse that, the difficulties and the complexities of life with. So I think that in South Africa, primarily it's changed from an insurance risk mitigation tool for individuals to more a big brother, big protector kind of necessity that one requires to traverse the complexities of life.
Okay, Simon, please, is there any development like this being seen in the UK, or has been happening in the UK?
I think that what changed from the early days of just having a very basic product that provided cover for uninsured loss recovery, personal injury on the motor product, and some basic cover on the household like employment and consumer. A lot of what's happened in the UK has been to develop those specialist covers for trades and different union groups. So for police, for instance, very specific areas of cover that relate to the needs of those customers. And that seems to have something that's improved a lot over the years. Of course, I'm loath to say after the event in every question because I know it's a kind of a country specific, but it's always providing the same thing. It's providing that support and access to justice to someone who may otherwise not be able to defend their legal rights or pursue their legal rights. But I think there's been more creativity and imagination around how those products develop. So with each change in the law or the system of how costs are recovered, there's been development in the products. So I think it's a bigger diversity of products. But I absolutely agree with Siva that legal protection generally has gone from starting with being insurance to being something we've talked about a lot, a service product, a triage, a provision of advice. That means that maybe, I think, certainly on our experience, something like 90% of contacts with a legal protection insurer to give advice and support and not an insurance claim itself.
Okay, thanks. So as I see it, the industry have continuously been evolving in each of your countries. And as I see it, these changes or progress goes hand in hand with a fair share of challenges. These challenges, I'm sure, are very different from country to country. I would really be interested, could you shed some light on the unique challenges you really face in your countries? Legal landscapes or the insurance sector. I mean, I don't know, Simon, maybe you go first. Is the Brexit a challenge, for example, for the UK?
I think it's a commercial challenge for the insurers operating in the UK, in so much as most of us would have operated in much further afield in Europe and now find that much more difficult. But I think regulation generally is something that's been a challenge. It's been the ability to carry on providing the service as the regulator looks more and more at how the product is sold, not just legal expenses, but any product that's added to something. So the rules around bundling products, the rules around making sure the customer is getting fair value from a product. And because of the way that legal protection operates, and so much as we're providing that legal support and making sure that the indemnity the clients have it can be used to its best. It means that you're using and working with panels of lawyers, etc. So the value is not always as apparent as it would be on a motor insurance claim or a household. So some of the challenges have been around demonstrating that value to the regulator. That, and I suppose the other thing that normally affects us is the change in legislation, the change in how costs are assessed, the change in what products we're able to provide and the use that they give. So, for instance, the qualified one-way cost shifting regulations in the UK, changing the level of costs that can be recovered depending on the stage of litigation, and making sure that our products don't leave customers with a shortfall. So I think mostly the day-to-day challenges that go with developing the products are always maybe what the disruptors would say. This is innovation before regulation. But as we're insurance companies, it's always to be regulation with innovation.
Okay, regulation, I guess, is a problem specifically in the German market.
A challenge as opposed to a problem.
Okay, a challenge. Rainer, can you?
Of course. I would say there are many challenges, of course. The biggest challenge for our industry, and I think that's not only a specific German issue, is the question how to stay relevant for our customers. I mean, especially in Germany, legal protection insurance is quite expensive. We have a kind of subscription model, contracts that normally run for several years. You don't have high claims frequency, so there are not so many positive customer experiences over the years, and the customer pays year by year. And at some point, he may ask the question, why do I need a legal protection insurance when at the same time the internet offers so many on-demand services, and those services are easy accessible, cheap, customer oriented. And I think that is our challenge. We have the challenge to not to lose the customer interface in this respect, and I think we can learn from the legal text, and we have to create ideas how to integrate those new services, those new legal services into our product offer in a clever way. Because at the end, I mean, it's good to be the expert in evaluating legal cases. That's our job, clear, that's our history. But the legal techs, they are the experts in customer orientation. And that's something that one has to have in mind.
So development in modern life is the challenge. What's the challenge in South Africa, Siva?
Yeah, so I think pretty much what Simon and Rainer have shared. But I think it's that exponential progression of digitization. You know, it's both a challenge and then also an opportunity. So, so I think that's the first thing. And also, you know, this increased expectation from the member to be serviced anywhere, anytime, on every available channel. And I think this expectation has resulted in perhaps mounting member expectation, which both as service providers and as insurers, we really are unable to fulfill. So I think that is something that we need to wrap our minds around. And of course, there's that increasing complexity of the legal sphere that we operate in. And this, I'd say, complexity has led to a great deal of uncertainty insofar as market regulation is concerned. And obviously, it's increased the cost of doing business. So I think that these challenges actually provide unique opportunities for us to innovate on how we sell, how we service, and how we service our members. So, whilst I think they are challenges, I think they're also opportunities for us to be able to be innovative.
So when you see these opportunities and the potential for growth, where do you see the biggest potential for legal protection insurance in South Africa, Siva?
Clearly around digitization and obviously the simplification of processes that will lower the costs to ensure that we provide affordable access to justice. Simply, in a nutshell, that would be it.
And in the UK, Simon, where would that be? What do you think?
I think, I mean, there's a fairly saturated market, but still, it's very much linked to those people that buy underlying insurance. We don't have a direct market, and I could be going against the grain of every other legal protection insurer in the UK by saying this, but I think it means we miss a market. We miss probably the youth market, people who are requiring the services and what legal protection provides, but probably don't own a house, maybe don't even own a car in the future. Let's be honest, car ownership is going to reduce dramatically. So those sort of, I think, Rainer, you mentioned those subscription models and those abilities to attach insurance that doesn't necessarily need to last a year or a month even. So I think the development is in finding a different route to market to pick up probably that slice of the market, that age group that we don't currently pick up, and especially as the ownership structure and therefore the insurance structure changes dramatically for the underlying products, we need to make sure that we're not missing out.
Rainer, you already touched a bit on the potential that you see in legal tech implementation. Is this the only potential you see, or are there others?
No, I have for the German market. I have a very simple message. I mean, there are still 50% of the households that doesn't have an appropriate legal protection insurance cover. So there is definitely growth potential. It is our job to convince the distribution partners, the sales channels, that legal protection insurance should be a relevant part in a comprehensive advice to the customer. And fortunately, I must say that more and more agents and brokers have understood this lever, because there is a good potential or a big potential for new business, and also to find new customers. So generally speaking, my perspective towards growth is positive.
So what you obviously agree that technology is an important part of the potential and of the potential for growth for legal protection insurance. In recent years, or let's say even in the past year, there has been a lot of focus on artificial intelligence. It's a topical issue. I would like to know how you see this emerging technology of artificial intelligence really shaping the future of legal protection insurance. Can we start with Rainer, please?
Siva has already mentioned that digitalization in general is a big challenge and a big opportunity for us. And I would say that it's the same with data, because AI is a data-based issue. The good thing is that insurance is data business since forever, one can say. In my opinion, our challenge and also the opportunity is to make better use of the data by using those new technologies. I would say that it sounds easy, but it's not easy, because there are a lot of issues coming up now, like regulation, for example, but also to find the right people. I mean, our industry doesn't have the reputation to be a data-driven industry. We are in the data business, as I said, but we are not really data-driven. So I think it will need investment in technology, but also in the right people, and also in the right culture. So it will be this is really for us a big opportunity, but it is still a long way to go.
Yes, Siva, you've touched upon this. What do you see a special role for artificial intelligence in growth and developing insurance further?
Well, absolutely. I think the advanced technologies can certainly benefit us. It gives us the opportunity to streamline products, servicing, the claims processes, the payment of claims. So I really do see this as being, cutting edge, and has the ability to actually change the face of legal expenses insurance. So certainly, but I do think that we're going to be hard challenged to be able to implement this in our business. Because remember that our businesses largely consist of technical people, lawyers, accountants, actuaries. And now you've got this interface between profession together with cutting edge technologies. And I think the marrying of the two is going to determine the level of success that we implement it in our businesses with. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. The interface between machine and human will be really key to the success. Simon, what's it like in the UK? What do you see there?
I mean, I'm optimistic, but at the moment we don't see a huge amount. Most of the insurance use of AI that I've seen recently has been around fraud, or as in around protecting insurance companies from fraud and looking at behaviours. I would like to see more of it used in a positive way. I think for our market and the services we provide, we ourselves are looking at something in another jurisdiction we operate in where we'll work using AI to try and provide a better service to the customers, so that for some simple and legal problems that are driven mainly around rules and regulations, we can provide that sort of advice. And I think that's probably the role for it. It's something I think we've talked about before with the CCBE, about that line between where you can provide advice up to a certain point on rules, regulations, distinct points, and then it falls into having to have that human interface for the advice. But if we can improve our customer service and reserve the lawyers and the teams of lawyers that we employ to do this, to provide more detailed advice, then it has to give an advantage. I think, I suppose what I'd say is that artificial intelligence needs to be backed by real intelligence, so that the way we use it for the benefit of the customer has to be carefully regulated by us as insurers, as legal protection insurers.
Thank you. Looking ahead again and keeping in mind what potential there is, I wonder, how can we continue? There are many significant organizations and players influencing the industry. How will it be possible for us to collaborate, all work together, and essentially deliver better access to justice? Simon, can you just share with us what you think?
I think as we could talk about this in terms of how the legal techs are developing and those alternative forums to insurance to resolve legal issues. Well, we could also talk about the charities and the organisations that also won't provide access to justice. I think the legal tech it has a place, and I think most legal protection insurers will end up working with legal tech as opposed to against them. So the products and the services they're able to provide can integrate into the insurance products that we provide, and that probably goes back. I think it's a development of the products that used to provide manuals for certain legal processes and guides that now move from being those almost those paper guides or the online guides to being the more AI based. I also think that we have to work with the law societies and how they develop as well, because for service revision, we are either we're using external law firms or we're employing lawyers. So we need to work with the societies there to see how they develop their model. And we also look at how some of the pro bono work is provided by some organisations in various jurisdictions to customers and how we can work and support them as well. So it's a balance of a number of things, of technology, of charities, of regulations, and of the associate. I say trade bodies. Obviously, lawyers is a professional body.
And Rainer, what's your vision? I mean, do you think it will be necessary for insurers to stick together and find a way forward together?
I think that is absolutely necessary, because most insurance companies are too small to solve every issue and every problem on their own. That is just not possible, because the complexity is growing constantly. So, in my opinion, collaboration between insurers, but also with legal techs, as Simon has mentioned, and it's not only a national issue. I mean, we can also learn from other countries. We can also learn from other industries. But we have to be open-minded, and that is something that is maybe not originally in the insurance DNA. So I think we have to change our mindset. Collaboration in a smart way is definitely a driver for better access to justice, in my opinion.
Well, Siva, you gave the example in the very beginning of Zach. He only set up LegalWise because he kind of joined our organization and learned from us. So what's your perspective on that?
Yeah, so I think absolute collaboration is important between ourselves in the industry itself as leaders in the industry. But I think bigger than that, I think collaboration is absolutely essential across our governments, across policymakers, and our citizens as well, to ensure that there's affordable access to justice. I think we tend to adopt a very insular approach, thinking that we can solve the world's problems. I think access to justice as a notion, as a concept, is far larger than that. And it requires individuals across the strata of society to actually collaborate in order to deliver on that.
Well, thank you. I couldn't agree more. We are approaching, unfortunately, the end of this discussion. But to close this round, could you please each briefly tell us your personal hopes and aspirations for our industry? What do you envision for the future of legal protection insurance? I would say, Siva, you go.
So I think most of you here around the table have actually heard me on this before, where I've talked about the justice gap and that there's an estimated 5 billion people in the world with unmet justice needs. Now, I think there's a responsibility on all of us collectively as legal protection insurers to ensure that these justice needs are met. In fact, if you think about it, when you look at the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, I mean, Goal 16.3 actually specifically talks to access to justice. And I think it's really important for industry leaders like us to come together to ensure that whatever it is that we're doing in-house translates towards a contribution towards that goal. Because if it's not, then that is an unattainable dream. And I think all of us, if we collaborate, that dream is possible.
Thank you. Rainer, what are your aspirations, please?
Well, I think we have seen in our discussion that the market environment is very dynamic. But the key point is that access to justice will remain a major issue in all societies and for all legal protection insurers. I hope that with the discussion about sustainability, the awareness for legal protection insurance will even raise more awareness. So the discussion about that and awareness of legal protection insurance as an enabler for sustainability, because access to justice at the end is the basis for a better coexistence of people. And I think that is really an overall issue. And therefore, I'm quite happy to be in this industry because we are enabler for a better coexistence of people.
Thank you. That's really positive. To this question, I wanted to give Simon, as president of our organization, the final word. Please, Simon, what are your aspirations?
I think Siva's always said it so well. We're sort of transcending the fact that we are insurance companies to look at the wider goals of access to justice, and that whilst our industry is across many parts of the world, the majority of the global population still has unmet justice needs. And that's something I certainly would aspire to trying to work to fill that gap look at those jurisdictions, and it is those highly populated countries, a number of the BRIC countries that don't have regular access to products like ours. And we have to look at how we can be more than just insurance companies, this being, as Rainer so rightly put it, enable us to justice, and what we can do to one, to spread our market, and secondly, to look at what we can do to support other initiatives that are ongoing as well. And for our industry, we have to continue developing our products. We have to remain relevant, and we have to provide affordable access to justice within what we do. And I think even within my own company, it's a case of establishing that maybe, and as I say this as someone who's been in legal protection for a very long time, I've always seen that what we do as insurance is being so different from so many other areas of insurance, where we are providing that access to justice. We're not simply covering the destruction of a chattel. We're covering so much more and providing access to so much more than that. And I want us to carry on developing that and expanding it into the future, and then hopefully inspiring the next generation of legal protection insurers to do the same thing as well, because we have to think about that.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you. I hope this conversation has been as enlightening and inspiring for you as it has been for me. I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guests for sharing your insights and your expertise with us today. From its rich history to a promising future that lies ahead, today's discussion certainly underlines our industry's resilience, its adaptability, and contribution to ensuring a more just future. So I thank everyone for joining us on this captivating conversation about the evolution of legal protection insurance. I encourage you all, stay connected, share knowledge, and share ideas. Together, let's continue to deliver a better access to justice. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. Bye.